And we are live. What's going on is Chris and Will from LifterLMS, and then today is Feature Friday, now on Tuesday. In this Feature Friday, we have an awesome demo for you today. LifterLMS has an integration with Gravity Forms. It does a lot of things. Today, we're going to stay super focused on requiring students to submit a form in order to complete a lesson. And you might be wondering, why would I ever want to do that? What could I possibly do? So Will and I have brainstormed and put together 4, 5, 6 different scenarios to show you how you could use a gravity form in a lesson and require your students to take it or submit the form in order to complete the lesson. And we're going to give you some ideas on how you can make your courses more engaging, get the information you need. And I just want to say that when you understand the power of forms, it's really what the internet that we love is based off of transferring information and data around. And we all know what a contact form is, but there's so much more you can do with forms. We're going to show you how to do it inside of a learning management system website. Gravity Forms add-on that LifterLMS makes is required for this. And Gravity Forms itself does have plans that you need to purchase in order to get some of the features that we're showing you today. So just keep that in mind. It's important to note that a lot of the things that we are showing you today are possible with our 3 other form integrations as well, which includes WP Forms, Ninja Forms, and Formidable. Gravity is a premium only form plugin option. It's one of the original WordPress form plugins, super powerful. We're going to take you to school today. Over to you, Will.
Cool. Like Chris said, the internet's built on forms. So having forms in as many places as you can is awesome. And Gravity Forms can do a lot of things. Like Chris said, it's like a premium option where like you have to pay to use the core software, but it's super powerful. And we're going to talk about some of that power here today. So for the example, I'm going to do something interesting with one of the add-ons Gravity Forms has to offer called the signature add-on. What we're going to do is add a form to a lesson in LifterLMS and just ask for a signature and then have it be submitted. But if we imagine that you're going to develop a more complex form, you might add like, do you agree to the terms of this privacy? Do you agree to like all these other things? Whatever like you need to have in your form, you can add it along with a signature. So I have the Gravity Forms signature add-on installed. You can see it over on the left. I've already set it up, but there's a LifterLMS integration like Chris said. So we're going to need to make sure that our integration is set up, and I turn down the volume on my thing. Our integration is set up and we can use it on lessons. So if I go to not groups, LifterLMS Gravity Forms, once you have the plugin installed, you'll see it here under LifterLMS settings integrations. Check to enable the integration. And this add-on does a few things, but the one thing we're going to focus on here today is lesson completion. Form submission is required for all lessons, or form submission is optional. We can override this on an individual lesson level, but just save that for now. Doesn't really matter. Because in the demo, what we want to do is add a lesson to my quick start course here. If I view the course, before lesson 1, I want to have like maybe it's like a consent form with a signature. So, or like an understanding of what the course is about and how committed you're going to be to doing the curriculum, etc. It's like a life coaching thing. So let's go for form for topics we'll cover.
Another example too is with health and fitness, you may want just people to sign a waiver that they promise to, consult with a doctor or whatever. This isn't legal or medical advice or anything like that, but
yeah.
And a lot of things, even like a school field trip, somebody signs a form to like consent to the thing.
Yeah, it's a really good example. So I'll just do sign the waiver because like the stuff I'm coming up with is all about like life coaching or something. Sign the waiver. So we're going to edit the lesson. And so here in our lesson, we can add a gravity form. So let's stop right here on the lesson. We'll leave this page open. I'm going to open my forms in a new tab. And here's where I'm going to build my gravity form. And I said I wanted a signature on a lesson. So signature for a lesson. And then this actually might be my waiver. I should call it something better. And I could add a description if I wanted to that, but for now, we'll just do signature. So there's a signature field because I installed that add-on with Gravity Forms, but there's a lot of other fields you could work with on here as well. But all I want is a signature. I'm going to save the form and I'm done here. So I'm going to go back to my lesson. I'm going to add my Gravity form. Is this form block? I must have at least one form. I need to reload the page. When you create a Gravity form, I guess if I had 0 forms, I needed to just reload. So I had this option here to select my form that I just created. So let's go ahead and update this. And this is kind of a blank lesson. It doesn't look that appealing to assign the waiver. But what's cool is this is actually a signature that people can like fix, because like I've been signing my name lately at like medical forms, and these are kind of frustrating. So it's cool that you can actually go back. So the signature is a really cool feature here. But once we're happy with our signature, we'll submit the form. And the cool thing about this is that instructors can see it in the back end. So if we go to LifterLMS reporting, I go to courses, and here, that's a quick start course, the one I just was editing. Arthur Wells is who I'm signed in as here in WordPress. That's me. And I can see Gravity Forms entry on sign the waiver for this specific student. So I can say view entry, and then that's the signature that they submitted. And the Gravity form. Now we're in the Gravity Forms interface, but you could see how the tools interact with each other and how they kind of work off of each other to be able to require the form submission in lesson. I should show that too. So if we jump into the course builder, we saw this a little bit earlier. We saw the settings for my Lifter Gravity Forms. It said form submission optional, right? So on that lesson, I guess I'll just go back into it. Right here. So we said form submission optional, but what we could do is do form submission required, because for the waiver, you're not supposed to be able to move on to the next lesson unless you've signed the waiver. So I could do, mostly you don't need to fill out the form to complete the lesson, but for this lesson you do have to complete it. And then I would set up my prerequisites. The course builds right here. I would set up my prerequisites, so you have to sign the waiver to move on to lesson 2. Something like that.
Another quick thing there is, if you do require the form submission, the LifterLMS Mark Complete button does not display. So the actual submission of the form is essentially the Mark Complete function. So you have to submit the form in order to advance.
Yeah. Replacing that Mark Complete button is just kind of a user experience driven way to do that. But yeah, Chris, you have a curveball.
You want a curveball now?
I mean, I could talk more about like fundamentally what adding forms to your lesson does for your website, but
do you want to do the other use cases first, or do the curveball and then do those?
Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at some other use cases. There's a lot we can go into.
How about one I see a lot is people want to collect feedback on lessons, or even collect a testimonial on the last lesson, and what would that look like?
Yeah, and sometimes when you look at like LifterLMS assignments or LifterLMS quizzes, and you see that you can collect feedback from students, you're like, oh, this sounds like it might work, but maybe you want it to be in a more survey format. So we would go to forms, and I'm going to create my survey. I wonder if they have a survey template. I'll just make one. So this is my survey testimonial. This is for the final lesson of Quick Start course, to ask for feedback, something like that. Then create the form, and here we would probably do single line text. No, well, do they have a star rating? They might have a star rating. No, I wonder if that's in the add-ons, but there might be like a star rating field option. So we can say what's your
paragraph text, short too, short feedback, long feedback, either one.
Yeah. Short feedback, long feedback. So let's go paragraph text. And then we can say, what's your experience with LifterLMS? So there's your feedback form, and name for the public, because this is like you're collecting a testimonial. So we probably publish that on the internet, and maybe there's like an upload photo. I wonder if we could do that, or if that's ambitious. File upload.
Awesome. Yeah, so the headshot.
This is kind of a cool testimonial form. So we're going to save this and put it into a LifterLMS lesson and require that you submit that one. So at the end of my course, let's add in a lesson. Then in this lesson, we will title it testimonial or end of course survey. Yeah. Publish that. Give it a second. Oop. Okay. Then we'll jump into edit that lesson. We will add to our end of course survey lesson the form is created. Boom. Survey testimonial. And then we will require that you submit the form to complete the lesson and ultimately get your certificate, right? Because let's imagine I created an engagement to trigger. You have to submit this to get a certificate. Might want to make it optional in case people don't want to leave you a public feedback, but.
And you can see there in your view, the mark complete button is not there. So like they literally have to submit the form to finish that lesson.
Yeah, the mark complete button usually would be right here, but you got to do this.
And just to, there's so far you can go with this. Like there's a plugin called Gravity View. We have some content about how to use that, but then you can take this form data and, you know, have your submissions display somewhere on your website, like a testimonials page. You can, that plugin has options where you could like review them first before they go live to approve them and so on. There's just so much you can do with forms.
Yeah.
I think we're warming up to the curveball if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I see course creators and coaches doing sometimes is they want to sell a product. And let's just say it's a simple product, a branded to the coach t-shirt, 3 sizes, and they don't really want to spin up WooCommerce to build a whole like retail store, but they just want to have a like a form either in a lesson or let's just say it's on the last lesson or somewhere in the lesson, like, hey, would you like a Will Middleton t-shirt for your guide?
Right.
They're $20, shipping's included. I just need a product with a price and radio buttons for size.
Okay.
and
you go ahead.
And just like stick it somewhere like near the end of the course.
Okay.
And make it optional because like we're not forcing them to buy our merch.
Right. Okay. I will try my best here. I have a creative idea. All right, we will do this. Let me check one thing. Get my item downloaded because we're gonna need a payment gateway, and we can add those from Stripe. Gravity Forms has a lot of them, including Stripe, including Square. There's a few options that you would have for that. So let me start out, and I'll reshare my screen. I realized I'm not sharing because I'm gonna open Canva and I'm gonna make the t-shirt. But yeah, so let's start on the form. So I'm gonna ask people to buy the merch. So here we go. Buy the merch. That's buy the merch. And this can just be an internal name. We'll hide it on the lesson page. This is upsell Will Middleton t-shirt on last lesson. So okay. Middleton t-shirt, create a blank form. And then what we will do is say, there was a size option you said, radio buttons.
There's some product options down to the right, like more field options. I'm not sure if it would be radio. I mean, radio for the size, but there's product fields that Gravity has.
Oh yeah, okay. Product fields. I could just drop in like, I've not known about this.
That's
yeah. Oh, I've done this before. Yeah, I've done this a million times. Yeah, I created a custom LifterLMS checkout with this field. I love this. Okay. So we have the size of your shirt. Let me jump into my options real quick. This is required. Edit choices. First choice is small. Let's add a lot of these. Because I'll order it from Printful so they can really do anything in terms of printing the shirt. So we'll do extra small, medium. I guess I don't know the sizes. I have one more. I think Printful does 3XL now. I don't know. But let's do that. And do that. So these are my sizes. And then the product name is going to be t-shirt. I don't think we need to display the label though. Can I change that in the appearance? Field label visibility. We don't need that. So price 0, quantity, and so let's do. Oh, this is conditional logic. This is a curveball. This is a real curveball. Okay, so conditional logic. We're gonna show prices if the field is matching the following. The size of the shirt you'd like is greater than medium, because printful charges more, and I want to like charge people exactly what they're going to have. I could just have a flat rate too of like, oh, once you select a field, it'll quantity is like $20 a shirt. That would be a cool thing to do. If you'd like a field greater than medium, then we're going to show a certain quantity, right? So if I jump, show all the following fields, untitled. No, wait, no. If the size of your shirt is that, perfect. Medium. And so this price field, can I have the price field back? Did I not apply my logic? Or maybe it's just like that. So my price field is add a product. How do I add my price here? Allows creation of a product in the form. So I want it to charge based on this. Here we go. So our price is going to be $20. And is that going to change it? That's perfect. And what I did was conditional logic, which is a little tricky because like the shirts actually like they charge 17 for those and 19 for these. So save that. And now that's perfect. And then this needs conditional logic. So we're going to say if this is contains M or, oh, that's a lot. Show this if it is less than M, right? I think this will work. Let's try it out. And if not, I can remove conditional logic. But now that I have my t-shirt size item, oh, I was going to do a picture. We'll do that in a second to really send it home. But LifterLMS Quick Start course, after the survey that we just made required, we're going to add a lesson. That lesson is going to be, do you want the merch? Because they might want the merch after this awesome point. And I think asking for the sale of the merch right after we had them submit positive feedback, hopefully, that's a good time to ask for the merch sale. Do you want the merch? Here's my lesson. Let's edit the lesson and drop in the form I just created. Form. Boom, boom. Buy the merch. And I don't want the form title to appear because this is buy the merch. So this is Will Middleton. Sell Will Middleton t-shirt on last lesson. Take the description off too. Okay. And here we would intro what this looks like, but let me make sure that this works. If I choose a medium, oh, it doesn't work the way I want it to. That's okay. I will just change it to a default size, which is probably more equitous anyway, and makes me a little money because if you buy one that's smaller than the most expensive option, I get to keep the difference in revenue. So this field is not going to be conditional, and it's just going to be 19 for everybody. Oop, oop, oop. Is it doing it? Save. Let's reload. There's a way you could do conditional logic, but I don't really want to get into it. Is it going to double? I just want to make sure this works well. Disable quantity field. It's just, we're offering one. We could offer a few, but that's later down the line. Price 19, submit. And then we need to add a payment gateway real quick. So let's jump to here. I get my Stripe. And so let's download this thing and come back to my WordPress. Jump into plugins, add new. We'll get that Gravity Forms Stripe one. And that is this.
So this is a really cool idea if you ever like just have something really simple you need to sell, like a t-shirt or a physical book, and you don't necessarily want to spool up WooCommerce for all the retail management stuff. You can just have a payment form. That's
yeah. And this is a great way to launch your course too. Like even if you're already an existing LifterLMS user, here's what you could do. You could you have an idea for a new course. Instead of actually spinning up the course, if you have LifterLMS and a gateway installed, you could just charge for the access plan. But if you just want to have like a Gravity Form charge people for like interest lists without creating courses, you could do that. So yeah, so we have our Stripe added, and that means that our forms add-ons, get more in the microphone range. there, I'll have that Stripe one, and I can go ahead and set that up more. But so I would dive into the settings, add my API keys, and then my form would actually take that payment. So I think I need to add like a details field. I don't know. If I do, I just want to reload this. Payment detail credit. I didn't look at what the prices were here. Product and quantity. Total Stripe. Ooh. Boom. Check your API settings. My API settings, we're not setting them up right now, but there's my credit card form.
Perfect.
So, yeah, let's of course design the shirt, because I promised I get to design the shirt. I am going to remove the background. I'm going to go to Elements, get a shirt, and that's the shirt. This is like kind of what it will look like, something like that. That's a pretty weird T-shirt, but you know, there are people who will love your course so much that they will buy a T-shirt with a picture of you on it, and that's where we will upsell right here into media. Boom, boom, enter. This is the shirt that ... and then you'd sell your shirt. So you have your last lesson, sell the shirt, and then you have your form to complete the survey. So 2 forms added to your LifterLMS course. First form is to just get that survey feedback. That's required. The second one would not be required. I would turn off require submission, and you'd have a T-shirt sale form to add expansion revenue to customers who already bought a product from you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was not an easy curveball, by the way, and Will did a great job figuring that out on the fly. I mean, e-commerce, it's amazing what you can do selling with LifterLMS or selling physical or digital products on your site. There's so much you could do. Maybe you teach music or art and you want to sell song tracks or you know, painting kits or something like that. There's so much that's possible. Thanks for the great Feature Friday, Will. Nice job on the curveball. You knocked it out of the park. That was not an easy one. Usually they're not quite that challenging. So
No, it was great.
Yeah, you did great. Awesome. Well, smash the like button wherever you're at. Drop a comment down below of what Feature Friday video or demo video you'd like to see from us next. Thanks for checking this out. If you're going to do Gravity Forms with LifterLMS and do the stuff we were talking about here today, you are going to need the LifterLMS Gravity Forms integration add-on that's made by LifterLMS, and also your own Gravity Forms license at whatever level you need based on the add-ons you required. That's it. Thanks for the great demo, Will, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.